Hey, what's up, guys? Jack here. Just got a quick production breakdown of our latest song, Soul Killer. Just want to take a minute to show you guys some of the production elements. Since this song's pretty electronic, it's got a couple of cool layers in it, and a couple of cool little tricks in it they're a bit subtle, but I think really make the song interesting. So without further ado, let's get into it. So when putting this song together, this was actually a pretty interesting one since most of the time when we work on a song, we've got generally a pretty good idea of what we're doing, or we've got at least a riff or something. And occasionally we do this thing where we try to write a song from scratch on the spot, and it always goes really bad. We always end up in a bunch of arguments, can't agree on anything, and it just goes really badly. But this time we ended up doing the same thing, argued, couldn't come up with anything, and kind of like in some weird last attempt to just like put something together, I ended up coming up with like a beat, and somehow this song actually came together. So I'm gonna play that beat, which is actually pretty much the backbone of the whole entire song. Since the song's electronic, this beat goes basically through the whole entire thing, and I would say it's pretty much one of the main prominent elements in this song. So I'll just play that now quickly. So this is what we started off with for Soul Killer. So that just loops through like the whole entire song. And that was sort of like a starting point for us. And like when putting this together, like I had a little idea in my head of what I was doing. Like when I put this beat together and stuff, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to make kind of like this mid-tempo electronic kind of thing. Like as much as I hate to say it, like sort of like a cyberpunky kind of like track. So after we did that, I chucked some synths together, and the guys were like, yo, this is sick. So we ended up working on it. So I'll play some synths and stuff, but this is basically the original version of this song was pretty much just super synth heavy. And it sounded basically like kind of more like an electronic mid-tempo, or mid-tempo kind of like electronic track. So with the synths added in, these were the original synths that we chucked in. So they're kind of cool. There's a heap of layers to it. So there's like a high one. Like a low one, I think. What else is there? There's also one that's kind of following what eventually became the guitar riff. But yeah, so that eventually ended up being the backbone of the song. And then those synths kind of continued. We originally had that pattern, and then this other synth pattern, which was this one here. And that's originally what we had for the song. And so obviously we added a whole bunch more stuff, but we sort of had this kind of little pattern thing going, and we sat on that for a little while. We then tried to sit down and add a few more things. We had this like kind of high synth thing, like a little melody thing going through the main riff, but it did sound kind of cringe. It was sort of weird. It sounded kind of cringe, and we ended up adding in these basically Pingu samples that were basically, so we had the synth doing this exact same melody, and we replaced it with Pingu samples after one night on a stream I was playing Cyberpunk unironically. one of the viewers ended up suggesting that we should chuck some Pingu samples into a song or something, like as a joke, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Like, and yeah, we ended up doing it. So this is like our Pingu sample that we've drowned in reverb and like distortion and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But basically the song kind of like revolves around this like synth loop kind of thing. So I'll add in some of the other instruments and show you guys kind of what we're doing. So originally we started off with that. And then we decided to add like a real kit in over the top of the electronic kit. So this is going to get a little bit scrolly. I apologize. But so we got, oh, that's a kick. We have like this electronic beat. And we decided to add in like an acoustic kit over the top of it, doing just some basically the exact same thing, but on the crash. So, so we added this kind of like acoustic kit doing the same thing, and it kind of added a bit more of a band kind of like feel. Tried our best though to like blend the kit into the electronic kit instead of doing the way I assume a lot of people playing metal would do, where they'd start with that kit, like the real kit, and then kind of blend in the electronic kit into it. We really wanted to focus on like the electronics being the main kind of like instruments in this. Then we also added in like bass, obviously. So a little trick that I do in production to like kind of control the low end and make sure I've got a consistent low end, I add in like a sub bass kind of like underneath everything. So that way I can kind of do as many EQ moves as I want to like the guitars, the bass. I can cut as much low end out of everything that I want, and I know it's not going to disappear because I've got a sub bass kind of like providing that for me. So that way I don't have to worry about that. But we added in sort of like a bass, which is sort of just this, oh, why did I do it that way? That's so dumb. So we added this bass in. And that's just following like the same pattern as like one of the synths that are in there. Sorry about the coughing. I only like just got over COVID, so I'm a little bit sick still. Added some rhythm guitars and a bass. So these are basically just following one of the synth melodies. I think this one down here. And the way we kind of approached it with these guitars was just to... so the guitars are in like double drop D or something. So they're not really kind of like being used as regular the guitars. They're more so being used to widen the synths that are going on. So I should kind of show you. So this is just as is. It sounds pretty empty. But then when you add all the programming in, like all the synths and stuff, it turns into a totally different thing. So our kind of approach with the guitars in this song is just to kind of treat them like a textural element opposed to like a regular element. And overall that made like kind of like the backbone of the song, this kind of like, you know, blend of real drums and electronic drums, the synths, and then using just kind of like our regular instruments that we would play live to add just kind of like width and texture to those sounds. And yeah, it turned out pretty cool. In the end of the day, it sounded like this, which is pretty thick. So next up, we got kind of like this verse section. Basically the same thing. We've done some automation on some of the drums to pull the drums down, mostly the snare in the verse. And during the verse, we really wanted like just the electronics to really take over. Kind of this kind of like cliche, kind of like cyberpunk kind of beat. Which we already showed you guys some of that stuff. A last minute added, actually, this cool little trick. So we had this like this little riff here, and we thought it sounded kind of empty. So I did this like weird thing where I doubled it. I copied and pasted the same thing, and then like pitch shifted it and added like a metric shit ton of reverb, and it made this cool little like droney sound underneath it. Which all up kind of sounds cool. Did this cool little trick too with like kind of this flangey kind of effect. I think I overdid it a little bit in this song. I ended up like flanging a bunch of stuff, which was, I thought it was really cool at the time. So what else have we got in here? It's basically like that most of the way through, instrumentally, until you get to the chorus. So pretty much the song uses that kind of riff and sound for most of it, except for the chorus. So I'll jump to the chorus and show you guys what we're doing there. So chorus has like a different chord progression and a different melody to the rest of it. And so chorus, I'll just quickly mute the vocals. So the chorus sounds like this. So as you can see, beat's still like basically behind the whole thing. The drums are still doing the exact same thing, just kick snare throughout the whole thing. Where it gets kind of interesting though is we like added a couple of extra different like layers. So like we've obviously got some synths just doing just doing what the guitars are doing. But a really cool thing that we put in was this like piano, and it wasn't originally meant to be in there, but I ended up putting this piano in to show the guys kind of what I was thinking for the vocal melody, because I didn't have lyrics and didn't want to sing it or anything. And I ended up thinking it sounded kind of cool, so it ended up staying. So it sounds like this. Cool little like, I don't know, adds a cool different texture to it. So we got that. We ended up adding this like weird kind of like distorted synth thingamajiggo in it as well, doing the same melody. And that sort of just beefs up the vocals a little bit, so it really, really thickens up the chorus a fair bit. But yeah, so overall, we kind of just like, it's basically a repeat of that same thing throughout the whole song up until the breakdown, which the breakdown's at the end. We tried to keep the structure of the song really, really simple. And so at the end, I kind of got like a little bit stuck because we had this kind of like beat going through the whole song. But breakdowns generally you want to follow like a kick drum pattern, and we're going to do this thing originally that Mick Gordon did in Doom, where like you sort of have like two kick drums going, where you've got like the electronic kick drum doing this like on the downbeat, and then you've got like a real kick drum kind of adding kind of like a kick underneath every single stab, but it didn't work out. So I ended up like cutting up the kick drum from it. And we did this cool little thing where we added kind of like this like kick underneath all of the kicks. So it just sounds ridiculous. I'll show you guys quickly. So this is what the drums kind of sound like without the like sample enforcement on it. Well, not so much the sample enforcement, but the the electronic kick and stuff. They sound pretty cool, but then with it, they sound heaps cool. So the kick adds like a hell of a lot. And then that snare just kind of adds a bit of, just like an extra cool quality to it, which is really, really sick. So if you're looking for a way to make your drums sound absolutely massive and you don't want to spend ages trying to make like an acoustic kit sound cool, just chuck some electronic samples in. It'll like really, really thicken up your kick, thicken up your snare, and make your sounds really cool. What else have we got in here? Same old tricks that I always do. So in every single song that I do, whenever I want like a section to be large, I've got like this gunshot sample, a reverse snare, a reverse cymbal, and then like a bass drop that just goes at the start of every bar of every major section. So, and then there's a bunch of reverse snares in it that kind of just add a bit of extra energy to that section. So just helps push the start of that section a little bit more. What else have we got? Underneath all of that, got this cool kind of like little guitar thing. So to show you guys where it comes in. Oh, wait up. Something else in there. I have no idea. Cool little like Eastern guitar moment kind of thing. Just sitting underneath everything to kind of give it a bit of a sense of urgency. And then this bit, where it ducks out, we kind of pulled the lead guitar one down and just left like the ambient-y kind of one in, just so that when that section came in, like it really did feel like those stabs are like really massive, like the da-da-da-da, like really pop out and stuff. Because if you've got like a heap of leads and stuff going under it, it can kind of like can fill the sound a bit, and the like doesn't make it as dynamic or cool. What else have we got in here? Let's get into some of the vocals. I'll show you guys some of the vocals too as well. So this song didn't really do too much with the vocals. We sort of just did the same old thing. But there are some cool little effects here and there. I guess are worth like having a look at. So like just before the breakdown, got this cool little sorry guys. I got this cool little thing. Again, played around with the flanger a little bit too much. But did this cool little effect. You're nothing but a step we say through the lies. Cool little effect. Just without it, it just doesn't hit as hard. I think it just really adds to making that section kind of start to feel like really chaotic just before the drop. I think we've got this other weird little thing in here just underneath it. Oh, so that's that thing that's going up. That's just to add a bit more of a thing. What else have we got? Go to the chorus. Show you guys some of the chorus vocals. Did the exact same trick in this one as I did with Crown. Except I think this time we've got two lead vocals doing the vocals. So the chorus sounds like this. I'll just quickly solo the vocals for you guys so you can hear what they sound like. We see what it is that you've tried to hide. You've tried to hide. The mask has slipped, now you're in the light. yeah, so it's just a lot of layers. You've just got like a lead vocal. In this case, I've got 2 lead vocals, I think, just to create like a bit of a doubled sound. You've got like some doubles, panned left and right either side. Some harmonies, doing just harmonies.
We see what it is that you've tried to hide.
Not bad. Vocal doing the octave lower.
We see what it is that you tried to hide.
Sounds funny as. Yeah, and just a ton of effects. I think on every first line too, I've got like scream under it.
We see what it is that you've tried to hide.
But yeah, it just makes the chorus thick. So if you're ever trying to make a thick chorus, lead vocal, 2 doubles, 2 harmonies and an octave below, and then throw some screams under some certain lines, and you cannot go wrong. What else have we got? Oh, so cool little vocal trick too. If you're trying to make your vocals have like that cool wet kind of sound with like lots of reverb and delay, but you don't want like your vocals to not sound as punchy and not in your face, you can do this kind of cool little thing with your effects where I think... Oh, it's not on there. Basically, like parallel compress them. Oh no, it's not parallel compression. It's sidechain compression. Jeez, someone fire me. But yeah, so something I do. So I've got this kind of like lead vocal effect, which if I play it now, I'll just try and find it again. So I've got this lead vocal effect. Just like a ton of reverb, ton of delay, but basically what I've got on it is a compressor that's sidechaining to the vocals. So basically here, while the vocals are going, the volume of that effect ducks down so that the vocals can still stay in your face. But see, like in little bits like here, or like in this like gap here, basically what the compressor does is it turns it down up until those moments where like there's no vocals going, and then it brings it back up. So it really it gives you vocals that kind of like space. It gives you vocals that really large spacious sound, and that really wet kind of like delay sound without it actually taking away from the clarity of the vocals, and it still allows your vocals to kind of like really sit up in the front of the mix without kind of sounding dry. Because it doesn't cut it out completely. It just drops it down to a volume that allows the lead vocals to kind of stand out a bit. So where else have I done that? I think I've got like a cool little delay effect and stuff too. So when it comes to mixing and stuff with vocals, I normally just run that effect over the whole entire thing and just automate it up and down depending on like how wet I want it to be. So for example, I think in that chorus, like so in that chorus it's like really loud, and then in the verse like I've had it turned down a little bit, and I think in the verse I've got like a different delay effect. So we'll go up to the verse vocals and see what we've got here. Cool. Yeah, so in this verse I've got like the lead vocals, predator deep inside, a wolf among the sheep disguised. So I got that, and then underneath it, just to kind of beef it up a bit, I think I got this like weird, just like this octave down kind of thing. But the really cool bit about this is these like delay trails underneath these vocals. So I'll see if I can like show you guys what those are. So with these I kind of overdid it a little bit. I think they're a little bit overkill, but I think they're really cool. So these like weird delay trails that have like a heap of flange on them, and what I've done is like on each repeat of it, I've changed kind of like the formants of the vocal that I'm using, and and to me, I think it added like a really cool, chaotic kind of like sound to this verse, and just gave it a little bit of like a delay sound that's like a little bit different to the rest. So that's something that I would recommend doing, is like if you want to split out like a certain verse or a section, I'd maybe play around with your delay effects or something, do a couple of cool little things, adding even a few little effects and stuff, things like like a pitch down thing. It can, on certain words and stuff, it can really just like add that little extra piece of production that can really like make a vocal performance and a vocal take sound really interesting. So yeah, as for screams, just got some basic screams, typical layers. Like you've got your main scream and then like a bunch of high ones and doubles around it on certain words. So I'll just play that quickly for you.
Just a matter of time. The world must collapse. You'll submit to the code. Cold and loud is all that you ever wrote. The walls run dry.
So as you can hear, like it's basically just one vocal through the whole thing, and then like on certain words, you've got like this kind of like doubling effect where I've just panned a double left and right. I think I got like some heavy distortion on that, which is a little bit different. I normally try not to distort the living daylights out of screams.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah. So I got a heap of distortion. I think. Oh yeah. So I basically like I made like a scream preset for myself based on the Crown of Thorns mix, and I think in that one I automated a bunch of stuff to do with the distortion in the scream. So I bumped it down really, really low. And then when I loaded in this like vocal preset for myself, the automation wasn't there. So it was like turned up really loud, and I thought the sound was kind of cool. So I sort of just left it. So yeah, happy accidents. That's another thing in mixing. Like you don't have to mixing and production. You don't have to do the same thing every time. Sometimes like something that works for one song doesn't work for another, and it can be the same type of thing. Like my screams are the same in both songs, but in this song it just having a bit more distortion sounds really cool. What else have we got? I think that's about it for like most of the production elements. It's like a cool little delay trail thing at the end.
Nice.
Cool little it's like delay trail thingamajigger here. Yeah, so that's doing that like weird noise at the end of the song. But yeah, overall this song, it's just got like most of it's just a lot of layers, and it's a cool way to approach kind of like simplistic songs like this, is just use layering to move the sections and to add the dynamics back into your song and stuff. Like you can have pretty simple songs, and if your dynamics are different and stuff, structural, like you can have a basic structure and use dynamics only to add that movement back in. But yeah, anyway, so that's Soul Killer. I will be hopefully putting these stems up online at some point, or I'm looking at doing it. So if you're interested in maybe getting these stems, downloading these stems and having a listen to them, maybe having a go at the mix yourself or something, or if you want to remix it, drop a comment down below, and just like let me know, be like, yo, give me these stems or something like that, and I'll try and figure out a way to do it. I'm thinking about maybe starting like a Patreon or something. Not sure at this point, trying to figure it out. Try and get some cool, try and get some way to get you guys like these stems or something, for anyone who's interested in stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Soul Killer. You can listen to the song right now, in fact, on our YouTube, or it's up on Spotify. But yeah, thanks for your time, and hopefully I'll see you guys for another production breakdown the next time we release some kind of music. So yeah, anyway, thanks, and I'll catch you guys later.